Seven Little Australians by Ethel Turner. Read to you by Nishali Navaratna. Chapter 2. Fowl for Dinner. Oh, don't the days seem lank and long, when all goes right and nothing wrong? And isn't your life extremely flat, with nothing whatever to grumble at? I hope you are not quite deafened yet, for though I have got through the introductions, tea is not nearly finished, so we must stay in the nursery a little longer. All the time I've been talking, Pip has been grumbling at a lack of good things. The table was not very tempting. Certainly the cloth looked as if it had been flung on. The china was much chipped and battered. The tea was very weak, and there was still nothing to eat but great thick slices of bread and butter. Still, it was the usual tea, and everyone seemed surprised at Pip's outburst. "My father and Esther," they all called their young stepmother by her Christian name, "are having roast fowl, 3 vegetables, and 4 kinds of pudding," he said. "It isn't fair." "But we had dinner at 1 o'clock, Pip, and yours is saved, as usual," said Meg, pouring out tea with a lavish allowance of hot water and sugar. "Boiled mutton and carrots and rice pudding?" returned her brother witheringly. Why shouldn't we have roast fowl and custard and things?" "What? Yes, why shouldn't we?" echoed little greedy Bunty, his eyes lighting up. "What a lot it would take for all of us," said Meg cheerfully, attacking the bread loaf. "We're only children. Let us be thankful for this nice thick bread and this abundance of melting butter," said Judy in a good little tone. Pip pushed back his chair from the table. "I'm going down to ask for some roast fowl," he said, with a look of determination in his eyes. "I can't forget the smell of it, and they'd got a lot on the table. I peeped in downstairs." He took up his plate and proceeded downstairs, returning presently to the surprise of everyone with quite a large portion on his plate. He couldn't very well refuse. He chuckled. "Colonel Bryant is there, but he looked a bit mad. Here, Fizz, I'll go you halves." Judy pushed up her plate eagerly at this unusual magnanimous offer, and received a very small division, a 5th part, perhaps with great gratitude. "I just love fowl," said Nell longingly. "I have a great mind to go down and ask for a wing. I believe he'd give it to me." These disrespectful people, as I am afraid you will have noticed, always alluded to their father as he. Nell took up another plate and departed slowly to the lower regions. She followed into the dining room at the heels of her housemaid and stood by the side of her father, her plate well behind her. "Well, my little maid, won't you shake hands with me?" "What is your name?" said Colonel Bryant, tapping her cheek playfully. Nell looked up with shy, lovely eyes. "Eleanor Woolcot, but they call me Nell," she said, holding out her left hand, since her right was occupied with the plate. "What a little barbarian you are, Nell," laughed her father, but gave her a quick, annoyed glance. "Where is your right hand?" She drew it slowly from behind and held out the cracked old plate. "I thought perhaps you would give me some fowl too," she said. "Just a leg or a wing, or a bit of breast would do." The captain's brow darkened. "What is the meaning of this? Pip has just been to me too. Have you nothing to eat in the nursery?" "Only bread with butter and very thick," sighed Nell. Esther suppressed a smile with difficulty. "But you had dinner, all of you, at 1 o'clock. "Boiled mutton and carrots and rice pudding," said Nell mournfully. Captain Woolcot severed a leg almost savagely and put it on her plate. "Now run away! I don't know what has possessed you two tonight." Nellie reached the door, then turned back. "Oh, if you would just give me a wing for poor Meg. Judy had some of Pip's, but Meg hasn't any," she said with a beautiful look of distress that quite touched Colonel Bryant. Her father bit his lip, hacked off a wing in ominous silence, and put it upon her plate. "Now run away, and don't let me have any more of this nonsense, dear." The last word was a terrible effort. Nell's appearance with the 2 portions of fowl was hailed with uproarious applause in the nursery. Meg was delighted with her share, and cut a piece off for baby, and the meal went on merrily. "Where's Bunty?" said Nell, pausing suddenly, with a very clean drumstick in her fingers. "Because I hope he hasn't gone too. Some way I don't think Father was very pleased, especially as that man was there." But that small youth had done so, and returned presently crestfallen. "He wouldn't give me any. He told me to go away, and the man laughed. And Esther said we were very naughty. And I got some feathered potatoes, though, from the table outside the door." He opened his dirty little hand and dropped the uninviting feathered delicacy out upon the cloth. "Bunty, you're a pig," sighed Meg, looking up from her book. She always read at this table, and this particular story was about some very refined, elegant girls. "Pig yourself! All of you has thou but me, you greedy things!" retorted Bunty fiercely, and eating up his potato very fast. "No, the General hasn't," said Judy, and the old mischief light sprang up suddenly into her dark eyes. "Now, Judy," said Meg warningly. She knew too well what that particular sparkle meant. "Oh, I'm not going to hurt you, you dear old thing," said Miss Judy, dancing down the room and bestowing a pear on her sister's fair head as she passed. "It's only the General who's after having a bit of fun." She lifted him out of the high chair where he had been sitting, drumming on the table with a spoon and eating sugar in the intervals. "It's real action you're going to see, General," she said, dancing to the door with him. "Oh, Judy, what are you going to do?" said Meg entreatingly. Do! cried the General, leaping almost out of Judy's arms and scenting fun with the instinct of a veteran. Down the passage they went, the other 5 behind to watch proceedings. Judy sat down with him on the last step. "Boy, want chuck-chuck? Pretty chuck-chuck?" she said insidiously. "Chuck-chuck! Chuck-chuck!" he gurgled, looking all around for his favourite friends. "Daddy got lots. All this many," said Judy, opening her arms very wide to denote the number in her father's possession. "Would he go get them?" "Chuck-chuck!" cried the General delightedly, and struggled to his feet. "Fine chuck-chuck!" "In there," whispered Judy, giving him a gentle push into the half-open dining room door. "Ask Dad." Right across the room, the baby tottered on his fat, unsteady little legs. "Are all the children all possessed tonight, Esther?" said the captain, as his youngest child clutched wildly at his leg and tried to climb up it. He looked down into the dirty, dimpling face. "Well, General, and to what do we owe the honour of your presence?" "Chuck-chuck! Chuck-chuck! Chuck-a-chuck! Chuck-chuck-chuck!" said the General, going down promptly on all 4s to seek for the feathered darlings Judy had said were here. But Esther gathered up the dear, dirty-faced young rascal and bore him struggling out of the room. At the foot of the stairs, she nearly stumbled over the rest of the family. "Oh, you scamps! You bad, wicked imps!" she said, reaching out to box all their ears, and of course failing. She sat down on the bottom stair to laugh for a second. Then she handed the General to Pip. "Tomorrow," she said, standing up, and hastily smoothing the rich hair that the General's hands had clutched gleefully. "Tomorrow I shall beat each and every one of you with the broomstick." They watched the train of her yellow silk dress disappear into the dining room again, and returned slowly to the nursery and the interrupted tea. And that is the end of Chapter 2. The link for Chapter 3 will be in the description. Thank you for watching my video, and please subscribe to Read Fast for more amazing videos. Thank you!